Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Two Show. My name is Ewan Hawkins-Lewis, and today with me is my co-host James Capelin.
Today our show is about the life and times of nye&jennie Bevan, once politician and founder of the NHS, and his wife Jenny Lee.
Now, a special theatre production is about to go live in the Metropole Theatre called Nye&jennie.
Joining us in the studio today is Meredith Barker and Louise Collins, the actor who plays Jenny Lee.
Before we talk to our guests, I would like to take a moment to reflect on nye& Bevan's life. nye& Bevan was born on the 15th of November 1879. He was one out of 10 children and lived in the small South Wales town Tredegar, with his father David and mother Phoebe.
Early on in life, nye&, performed poorly at school, so much so that his headmaster made him repeat a year. In 1911, at the tender age of 13, he left school to join a local tea trist colliery. However, soon after in 1919, at the age of 20, he received a scholarship to the Central Labour College in London.
In 1934, nye, or Nye as he became known, married Scottish Socialist MP Jenny Lee, and together they fought and preached for socialism and justice. Following that, in 1945, Nye was appointed as Minister of Health by the Prime Minister at the time, Clement Attlee.
Jenny Lee was a Scottish Labour Party politician. She was a member of the party from 1929 to 1931 and then 1945 to 1970. Together, they fought for the rights of a free health service.
She was born in Lochgelly to a mining family. She later joined the Labour Party and served as an MP for a total of 28 years. Lee was defeated at the 1970 election in Cannock by Conservative Patrick Cormack. She died in 1988 from natural causes at the age of 84.
What a fantastic man who fought for such a formidable cause. Personally, I believe a short film can only serve as a brief overview of this man's life.
I think now is the time to introduce our guests, Meredith and Louise. Meredith, you are the scriptwriter for nye&jennie. You have a lot of material to use, so what exactly is the show going to be about?
It's going to be about their relationship with each other and how the outside world, politics, the people they had to deal with day to day in Parliament, their own people in their own constituencies, how that affected their home life and how affected they dealt with each other. So it's basically about the stresses and strains of being a 20th century socialist politician.
And how do you think the audience will receive this message?
I hope that there'll be a few surprises in there for them because there's a lot that isn't generally well known about them as a couple. And I think they will grow an even greater appreciation, especially of Jenny and what she achieved, because she founded and was the instigator behind the Open University, and not many people know that. People tend to just give Nye the credit for the NHS. So I think people will get a much greater appreciation of the influence that their work as a couple and as our politicians has on everybody's life, even now today.
And Louise, you play Jenny, don't you? Is it difficult playing such a strong character?
She's wonderful. I mean, in everything you read about her, she's so fiery, witty and sparky that really it's just a joy and an honour, and I feel very, very lucky.
And do you think you could answer the next question in character of Jenny?
Character? Let's go.
So how are you going to get across nye&jennie's loving relationship on stage?
Well, let's see. First, there'll be people at home, and then hopefully you'll have the idea that what they were like in public.
And well, I can't wait to see the production. And now on to our own reporter live from the Metropole Theatre, Ellis Mitchell.
Welcome to Abertillery Metropole, and today we will be taking a closer look at the new theatre production, nye&jennie. Let's go in and see what's happening.
I tell you, it is the Labour Party or nothing. I know all its faults, all its failures, but it is the party that we have...
Now we are inside the Metropole, and as you can see behind us, rehearsals are starting to take place. I spoke to Meredith Barker, the scriptwriter, earlier, and he said they were trying out many different things just to see what fitted the script best. Now, let's move on to sound and lighting. Now, we are at the Light and Sound studio, where some key factors of the play are made. Let's have a try. This business ain't for me. Let's go on to the makeup, a real man's job. Welcome to the dressing room, where I'm in my element, and where the actors get ready for their big show. It's been an amazing experience here at Abertillery Metropole. Now back to the studio with Iwan.
Thank you for that wonderful tour, Ellis. Now we're back in the studio with Meredith and Louise. Now Meredith, we understand that there are a lot of facts that serve as a foundation for this play, but have there been any changes and a challenge transferring this play onto stage?
Oh, there's been a great challenge in doing that because there's a record of what politicians say in Parliament called Hansard. And I read everything that Nye said in Parliament and everything that Jenny Lee said in Parliament. And if I was to put that in a play, it would take something like 3 days for the whole thing to be said. So you have to pick and choose what works and what doesn't work as far as drama is concerned. And that's the playwright's job. Going right back to Shakespeare, even back to the Greeks, the whole job is to get somebody who might have existed and put a version of them on stage which is believable and truthful without it being over the top in the way that it uses fact after fact after fact. You have to make some things up to glue everything together.
And this is obviously based off a true story, but has there been any tweaks made to the past which have brought the heartfelt story to life?
There have to be tweaks because you're asking two people to play two people who actually did exist. You're asking a playwright who was born 10 years after Nye Bevan died to write a play about Nye Bevan. So there's going to have to be certain aspects of the story which have to be made up, but that's the whole point of putting a drama on stage. Fictional drama tends to tell the truth about the world far better than a documentary can ever do. Documentaries have their place, but I think a drama such as this can tell us greater truths than just having something that can go through a camera or something that's just verbatim said by somebody.
And Louise, we've seen you in rehearsal. Are you excited about performing in the Metropole?
Very excited to be here. I think it's very exciting that we get to do a story about an Iron Bevan from where he's from. I think it was around about this time last year I was doing a play about Port Talbot in Chichester, and it felt lost, and I thought there was a great need for it to do it there as well, but to bring it to Wales. So the idea of doing a story about him here is very exciting.
And finally, I really do need to know, how do you cope with such a vast audience? Do you ever feel intimidated when faced with such a crowd?
I think if you, throughout rehearsals, you've worked out the connection between the two actors on the stage and the story that you're telling between the two. If that's alive, then that will transfer to the audience, and that is actually what the magic of theatre is. Every night will be a completely unique experience, and that's something you can't capture on telly. So it's a medium of its own, really. And if you have that, then the magic of theatre exists.
I'm afraid that's all we have time for. This is Ewan.
And this is James.
And this has been The Two Show.